Warm greetings, truth seekers and story lovers, and welcome back to Afrika Timeless Tales, where every story holds a jewel of wisdom waiting to be discovered. Today, we journey to the heart of Nigeria, to a land vibrant with culture and pulsating with life. Imagine a woman, bright-eyed and hopeful, swept off her feet by a man of overflowing confidence, a red-cap chief whose presence and wallet command attention. Their beginning is a whirlwind of laughter, lavish celebrations, and promises that glitter like the finest gold. But as the drums of the wedding fade, and the quiet of a shared life begins, what truths will surface? When the shine of new money meets the ancient demands of tradition and expectation, what path must a woman forge for herself? This isn't just a tale of romance, it's a journey of discovery, of resilience, and a hard-earned understanding of what truly matters. So, draw closer, lend an ear, and let's unravel the story of Amara and the formidable Igwe Emeka. A story that asks us, what is the true price of happiness, and where does a woman find her real treasure? This is Afrika Timeless Tales. Let the story begin. Many years ago, Amara met Igwe Emeka, a young man who introduced himself with pride and a football belly that entered the room before him. She was at a friend's wedding in Oka, struggling to balance her high heels when this man with overflowing confidence walked up to her with his red cap and one dramatic hand and said, "Young lady, I greet you in the name of culture. I am Igwe Emeka, the AY1 of Yuba Kingdom." Amara blinked. She thought it was a prank. She started looking around for hidden cameras, but the man was serious. He continued and said some real funny things that made her laugh as if it was her last. From that moment, Igwe Emeka was hooked. No woman had ever laughed at his jokes like that before, then somehow he liked it. He said she reminded him of his late grandmother who used to insult him with love. From there they started talking. One date led to another. Every outing he will come in his flowing confidence and phrase, "Respect me, my dear. I am not your mate at all. I am a red-cap chief." Amara will always reply, "This your chieftaincy title is like ID card." But what she didn't know was that Igwe Emeka wasn't joking about it. Eventually, he proposed with a ring, a goat, and a small bottle of schnapps. And Amara couldn't still see the signal. She kept on saying, "Wow, wow." Like a siren, I said, "Yes, if you lived in Anambra State and didn't hear about Igwe Emeka and Amara's traditional marriage, sorry, you were either deaf, abroad, or a goat." Their marriage ceremony was a community miracle because people had what to eat for days. From the village square to the next local government, everywhere was painted with also a bee, mourning and the spirit of flamboyance. Igwe Emeka was not just a title chief. He was also a successful property developer. He arrived with 7 jeeps and a full band that sang only his name for 6 hours straight. Even the caterers couldn't concentrate. They were dancing while frying. People were packing rice, meat and drinks like it was COVID-19 palliative. Amara, dressed in glittering George wrapper and coral beads the size of local onions, came out like a Nollywood queen and also threw money like he was allergic to it. During the couple's dance, spraying of money was like water, it was like the sand we walk on. They packed money with Ghana must-go bags and people who stole money had at least 80,000 naira with them home. By the time the event ended, they used 2 cars to carry the bags of money. They got home exhausted but smiling like election winners. Bags of money sat in the corner like school children waiting for roll call. Igwe Emeka removed his cap, sighed like a retired wrestler and said, "Amara, this money, don't count it, just enjoy it. I don't want to use 1 kobo from it. Use it anyhow you like, but hear me well. You have just 2 days to finish all of it." Amara reposed, 2 days. He looked at her eyes. "Yes. 2 days. If you are truly my wife, then you must know how to spend recklessly. Spend like your destiny depends on it." Amara looked at the money, looked at him, and then burst out laughing. Chief, this is why EFCC is looking for people like you. He waved that off and then he replied, let them come now. My hands are clean. The next morning, Amara woke up feeling like Queen of England mixed with Queen of the Coast. Her new title, Lolo, was still marinating in her brain like a soup. She took her new iPhone 13, courtesy of Igwe Emeka, opened Instagram and her Explore page was screaming, human hair 450,000 naira only. She giggled and whispered, God, who am I that you love me like this? She started adding wigs to cut, bone straight, water wave, raw Indian, Malaysian, miso, Katonu, miso everything. She then moved on to perfumes, heels, designer bags that cost more than her father's plot of land in the village. As she clicked proceed to check out, something happened. Suddenly a gentle voice, certainly not from her village, whispered, use your head, Amara. Your husband is shouting title chief like he's the second Jesus. This one is throwing money like tissue. Who knows when he would throw you too? Think, my daughter. She paused. She looked at the wigs and then looked at the money. The voice continued, pay only what you need. Save the rest for the day he forgets he ever loved you. She hissed like a Lagos conductor but logged out of the wig website and bought what she needed at that time. She bought a fine pair of sandals, one perfume, because a queen without a good scent, and a small makeup kit. Then she went to open a secret savings account. She walked into the bank like a shy angel and deposited over 10.7 million naira quietly, signed her name, and dashed home like a thief with purpose. She told no one, not even her mirror. And as time passed, she forgot the money was even there. But heaven didn't. After some days, Amara noticed something troubling. Igwe Emeka did not and would never lift a finger in the house. If he ate rice and the spoon fell on the floor, it stayed there like a piece of furniture. If he drank water and the bottle rolled under the chair, it became part of the living room design. Once he finished eating, he would push his plate to the side like he was done signing a multi-billion contract and shout, Lolo. Come and clear this thing. And if by mistake, just by mistake, Amara even dared to complain, oh, Emeka, could you help me carry your plates now? You walk past the kitchen to the couch. He would widen his nose like a chief about to summon a town crier and respond, Amara, let me even ask you, what do you do in this house apart from being a housewife? I provide everything you need, even up to your sponge and pad. She would open her mouth to reply but he would raise one finger and continue, see, I am a title chief, not your co-wife. In my culture, when a man marries a woman, she becomes the hand, leg, broom, and mop stick of the house. One day she got tired and said, Emeka, you mean you can't even wash this spoon? He flared up. Are you mad? Do you know who I am? My chieftaincy name is Okosisai, the giant tree that doesn't touch water. Washing spoons will remove my ancestral pride. Don't ever make this mistake again. Oh, it shouldn't come out of your mouth either in a dream or in reality. I provide everything. I am Igwe Emeka, the lion of our kindred. I gave you a house, clothes, the DSTV with super spot, and even that gold edge control you are using to design your forehead. What again do you want? At this point, Amara would just sigh and clean her tears because the journey was too far. When Amara discovered she was pregnant, she thought maybe now Igwe Emeka would calm down. Maybe fatherhood would humble him, but your guess is as good as mine. Igwe Emeka remained Igwe Emeka. If anything, he even upgraded. From the moment she missed her period and confirmed it, she smiled with hope in her heart. Maybe now he would carry his plates. Maybe now he would wash just one singlet. Maybe now he would learn to say, how are you feeling, my love? But no. Instead, one hot afternoon, she had finished cleaning their big house, she slumped on the couch and groaned, Igwe, my back. I need to lie down small. Igwe Emeka turned and then he asked, back pain, baby, what, just 5 months? See, go to my village, you'll see women with heavy pregnancy, backing one baby, and still pushing a fully loaded truck of cassava. You are here whining because you managed to clean the house. Amara opened her mouth in shock, but Igwe Emeka wasn't done. In fact, what's the difference between you and those village women? Or is your pregnancy imported from abroad? She tried to respond, oh, Emeka, a pregnancy is different for every woman. He cut her off immediately. Cut that rubbish, he said. You are not carrying twins. You are not even fetching water from the stream. The washing machine is working. The house ACs are working. What exactly are you suffering from? Eh? Serve my food, I beg. Talk about another thing. She just sat there with swollen legs, teary eyes, and thoughtless hope. He added one last slap of wickedness with his smile. This is why I said women of nowadays are soft, too soft. No wonder that we respected our mothers. They will give birth on the farm and still harvest yam before evening. He adjusted his red cap like a champion and shouted, Lolo. Where is my food? You are still sitting there. She stood up slowly, waddled to the kitchen and whispered to herself, there's a limit to what I, Amara, will take. One hot Thursday afternoon, Amara was already 8 months gone. Her belly was shining like a fresh watermelon and her ankles were swollen like she owed them money. But guess what? Igwe Emeka still expected her to go to the market, haggle with traders, then do everything as a wife. She would come back sweating, cook 2 soups and stew, clean the fridge, do laundry, and still kneel down to serve her husband. One day, while bending to lift a heavy keg of oil, she nearly fainted in the kitchen. Her soul almost relocated. That night she sat in the bathroom with her swollen legs inside cold water, looked up and whispered, Dear Father, if I don't leave this house for a while, either me or this baby will come home in spirit form. She knew she couldn't survive another week of Igwe Emeka's motivational nonsense about village women with strength like cement. So the next morning after brushing her teeth, she waddled into the hospital with a mission. The nurse at the desk greeted her. Madam, you are welcome. Amara didn't even smile. Please, I want to see the doctor, she said. As the doctor examined her, she broke down. Doctor, please. I'm not complaining, but my husband wants to finish me with chores. I sweep, I wash, I cook like I'm contesting in African kitchen on TV. He doesn't help me in any way. If I stay one more day in the house, I'm afraid something bad may happen to me or the baby. The doctor looked at her with her eyes full of pity and silent rage. She didn't need a second opinion. She simply closed the file and declared, You are not going back there till you give birth. I am placing you on hospital bed rest immediately. Amara looked up with hope flickering like NEPA lights. Do you mean this, doctor? She asked in a low tone. Yes. Even if your husband carries the whole village, I will face him myself. Just then, the Dr. Ifeoma, picked her phone and called Igwe Emeka in her most professional way. Good afternoon, Igwe. This is Dr. Ifeoma from Crystal Care Hospital. We have assessed your wife's vitals and it is necessary she remains here under full monitoring until she delivers. It is for her safety as stress can trigger complications. Igwe Emeka hesitated faintly on the line but said, if it's for her health, then it's fine. But as he dropped the call, he muttered, lazy woman. All this doctor's self. Back in the days, our mothers gave birth at home. Meanwhile, Amara was already in her executive hospital room, with air conditioning blowing her gently, sipping malt and watching the world like a queen that had escaped from Waala Kingdom. And that was how she stayed there drama-free till her water broke and the baby came. After spending weeks in peaceful bed rest, where nurses called her Madam Amara, she went home finally with her bundle of joy. She stepped into the compound with her baby and her mother. As they entered the living room, Igwe Emeka cleared his throat and spoke in a baritone voice. Welcome back, my wife and mama. I hope the hospital treated you well. Now that the baby's here, we must maintain peace and structure in this house. Mama, you are very welcome. But as a title chief that I am, you know I value my privacy. So this your stay will just be 1 week. 1 week here? Amara asked, blinking rapidly. No problem, Igwe. Your house, your rules, her mother replied. She stayed her 1 week like a visiting senator, woke up early, bathed the baby with wisdom, and carried out the omago like it was NTA live coverage. But as the 7th day approached, she didn't argue and she didn't drag her feet. She packed her bags and Igwe Emeka gave her a "thank you for coming" package. When she opened the envelope, her eyes danced. Igwe Emeka, in all his guilt and drama, had given her cash, fabrics, provisions, perfumes, and cartons of milk that would be enough to open a store. Mama smiled, kissed her daughter goodbye, looked at her granddaughter, and left like a boss lady. Amara was left with no choice but to resume her role as the only maid in Igwe Emeka's palace, but now with a baby. And guess what? That same night, Igwe Emeka made a comment. So now that the baby's here, hope you know I don't like crying at night. This house is for peace. A title chief cannot be losing sleep. That first night without mama was not for the faint-hearted. Amara, barely recovered from childbirth, had arranged baby diapers, breast pump, baby oil, hot water flask, and 1,000 other new mother gadgets. She tucked baby Ada into the cot and just as she was about to rest her eyes, the baby's cry pierced the dark like a generator sound during silent prayer. Amara jumped up. She tried breastfeeding but the baby refused. She rocked her. She sang, but baby Ada had other plans. From 12:47 a.m. to 2:10 a.m. the baby cried as if she was protesting her choice of parents. Suddenly, the bedroom lights came on. Igwe Emeka walked in like a ghost, freshly annoyed from the spirit world. Amara, what's all this noise for? He asked. Oh, Emeka, what do you want me to do? I should fly. I have done everything, but our child is just being a baby. Igwe Emeka hissed, stalked out of the room, and returned with earplugs. He stuffed them in and said, Come, let's go outside. Maybe she needs fresh breeze. As she stepped out with the baby, she heard the loud click. Igwe Emeka had locked the door behind her. She reposed. Emeka, what are you doing? Igwe Emeka looked at her through the window and said, Until you find a way to make that baby stop crying at night, both of you should stay outside and enjoy the fresh air. I need to rest. Amara was shocked. You locked your wife and newborn baby outside because your baby is crying, she asked. Igwe Emeka replied with full audacity, Yes, crying is for markets and playgrounds, not inside a titled man's house. The baby started crying again. Amara just sat on the veranda floor and said, God, if this is marriage, next time give me a sign in capital letters. The next morning, he opened the door with a full-body smile like nothing happened and announced, Oh, Amara, I was just trying to teach you discipline now. Don't twist the matter. She stared at him with the same eyes you give someone who you know deliberately hurts you. But before she could reply, she walked in without a word. The baby yawned, but Igwe Emeka had a plan. Later that evening, as she sat quietly in the room, ignoring his dramatic coughs and attempts to crack jokes, he walked in holding a brown envelope. He dropped it in front of her like they were about to settle a land dispute. Open it. Amara was still angry but opened the envelope and nearly screamed. 5 million naira was in it. And then she asked, What's it for? Igwe Emeka adjusted his red cap and said, It's an apology. I am being stressed and you are being stressed. Yes, that's the fact. A title chief cannot say SORRY. So use that money to take care of yourself and the baby. Maybe buy one of those Brazilian street wigs you women like. Before she could react, he continued. I am a title chief. We don't beg with mouth. We beg with action. And this is called action. Amara looked at the money, then looked at her husband. She didn't say thank you. She didn't hug him. She simply asked, so tomorrow when the baby cries again, do we collect another 5 million or do we sleep inside the generator house? Igwe Emeka scratched his head like someone trying to remember where he buried his dignity, and then he replied, till then. That night, peace returned to the house, not because love had resurrected but because of the money. The next day, another wahala burst. Amara, who didn't sleep well the previous night, looked like someone that had wrestled with 7 ancestors in a dream. So, by the time Igwe Emeka went out, her eyes were red, her lips pale, and her body felt like it had been offloaded from a cement truck. She and baby Ada slept peacefully. By 2 p.m., when she finally woke up, her stomach groaned like a wounded lion. She looked at the clock. Oh! She screamed, let me just go and boil rice. I don't want wahala at all. She stood up slowly. Boom! The room spun like a village masquerade in festival season. She held the wall, grabbed the chair, sat down, and whispered, Father, just let me survive today. She managed to crawl to the gas cooker, lit the kettle, and made herself a cup of tea. By 8:30 p.m. still there was no food in the house because she still hadn't gotten herself. She waited for Igwe Emeka like a child waiting for her results. Door opened. Igwe Emeka entered with heavy annoyance. He asked for food and she told him she couldn't cook. He shouted, no food. What have you been doing since morning? She explained gently. I didn't sleep well previously because you locked us outside, remember? I am still very weak. I was hoping you could help us buy food from the restaurant. What? Igwe Emeka snapped. A title chief like me should leave my royal status and go and run errands like a common man. His face changed. So I'm now an errand boy, eh? A whole chief like me. Oh. But then he suddenly smiled. No problem. Let's go together, you and the baby. I will even make tea for you again. She was surprised. Maybe he was turning a new leaf. He brought tea, helped her wear her slippers. She stepped outside, 1 foot out and then the 2 feet out. Just as she turned back to close the door behind her. Boom! Igwe Emeka locked the door again, this time with intentional wickedness. She turned around. Emeka, remember I am very weak. Are you locking the door against us again? From inside the house, his voice came like an evil echo. Yes, I have locked the door again. You want me to be an errand boy? Let this night teach you another lesson of how to talk to your chief. Step outside, my darling wife. Amara stood there with her mouth open and her baby in her arms, no energy to even cry. She sat on the front steps, looked at the sky, looked at her sleeping baby, and said out loud, this marriage has ended. That was the night she decided. She said to herself, Amara, it is time to stop being the woman that married a title chief. You will become Lolo of your own empire. She didn't sleep all through that night again. Morning came and she found him opening the door, already dressed for the business of the day, with his red cap. He stood at the doorway, no greeting and no expression. Then in a full village monarch voice he barked, enter the house. Not please, not how was your night, not sorry I locked you and our baby out. Just a command as if she was a slave. Amara stood up slowly, walked in with her child, with no words but with her plans intact. Then the royal decree began. Let this be the first and last time you will try such rubbish, embarrassing my title. Do you know who I am? She didn't answer, but he didn't care. Anyways, as an apology from you to a title chief, prepare onagbu and fufu before I return with native fowl. Hope you understand. She nodded. He picked his staff, turned dramatically like an Hollywood village prince and stormed out. She turned to face the living room, looked at the walls, looked at the chair she once breastfed on, looked at the spot where he first dropped the 5 million naira apology money. Then she smiled. Not the kind of smile you give when someone tells you a joke. This one came from deep understanding. Thank you, Lord, for that 5 million naira, for the money I've been saving, and for my 10 million naira in the savings account that must have yielded enough profit. She stood there for a long moment, inhaled deeply like someone who just removed tight braids. Gave one last look around the house. The 72-inch TV he never let her touch without asking. The leather chairs he said were for visitors of honor. The framed photo of him receiving his chieftaincy title like he won a Grammy for Most Useless Husband 2025. And when she walked to the room, she opened the wardrobe and brought out her packed bags because deep down she knew this day would come. She called a private car and by 10:22 a.m. Amara and her baby were already headed to Ngozi's place in Enugu. As if Ngozi had a spare room and a business plan waiting for her. Exactly 7 p.m. Igwe Emeka drove into the compound like a conquering hero. He opened the door expecting to smell onagbu soup. Instead, the house was quiet. He called out, "Lolo. Amara." No answer. He strode to the bedroom, flung the door open. He opened the bathroom. He saw nobody, only the shower cap hanging like a survivor of domestic war. Igwe Emeka stood in the center of the room, both hands on his head like a man who just misplaced his destiny. No, this woman cannot try this rubbish. He picked up his phone and gave her a video call. Amara picked with a calm face. Igwe Emeka, this red cap was man by the side, his pride in the gutter. He knelt on the tiled floor like they sent him on a missionary begging assignment. My wife, Amara, my queen, my pumpkin, the salt in my soup. I beg now, come back home and marry me. We can settle everything and start all over again. I know I messed up big time. Amara chuckled, looked at him with calm eyes like a spiritual mother addressing a confused child. So you finally realize I am your wife. I thought you said you were a title chief. Please stand up because kneeling down and apologizing as a title chief is a disgrace to the ancestral throne. Amara, I was joking now. Small joke like this you don't turn to fight. Oh, Emeka, go and marry your red cap and leave me alone. A man that locks his wife and baby outside for 2 nights does not deserve a second chance. He tried to say something. She raised one finger like an elder at a village meeting. Shoo. I don't hate you. I have just healed beyond you. If I stay, my daughter would think that's how every man behaves. So, no thank you. I want her to know love, not fear dressed in tradition. Then she said the final line, smiling beautifully. Tell your red cap to learn how to cook off onagbu, because as for me, Amara, I am now cooking peace, purpose, and prosperity. And guess what? It tastes better. She ended the call. Igwe Emeka stood there, one hand still holding the phone, the other holding regret. He then understood the statement, when a woman decides to walk out, even if you beg with your usual charm, she won't turn back. Hey African Timeless Tales, my Kama tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. My dear sisters, please come close. This is not just a story, but I hope you took notes of some things. Before you say yes to a man because he has money, ask yourself some important questions. Yes, money is important. Nobody wants to suffer. But my darling, marriage is not a destination. It is a daily journey. It is waking up beside someone every day. Through stress, through children, through misunderstandings, through sickness, and through pressure. Let me tell you one bitter truth, money cannot hug you when you are crying. Money cannot apologize after disrespecting you. Money cannot help you carry a baby at 3 a.m. when you are weak and bleeding. What will you do if that man has money but no empathy? What if he believes feeding you and giving you transport is equal to love? What if he sees you as a house girl he bought with bride price? Amara married a title chief with money. They sprayed cash with Ghana must go bags during the traditional marriage. But what happened? She ended up being treated like a maid with a womb and punished for being human. So before you say, I do, because he bought you an iPhone, flew you to Dubai, or wears a border with a good wristwatch, pause and ask, can this man marry me in prayer? Can he respect my voice? Can he wash plates when I'm sick, or will he lock me outside? Does he see me as a partner or as a property? Don't rush into marriage because of what you see on Instagram. Marriage is not a Nollywood film. It is real life, and it will expose the things you ignore. Choose peace, not pressure. Choose love, not lust dressed in wealth. Choose a man who sees you as a human being, not just as someone to serve food and give children. Shine your eyes, oh. And if you are already inside it, may wisdom just locate you in Jesus' name. Amen. On this note, I sign out from today's story. Give it a thumbs up and let me get to read from you in the comment section what you learned from the story. And if you have any experience or thought to share with us in line with the story, please go ahead and do so. Don't forget to share out to your loved ones. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit that subscribe button. Until I bring another exciting story your way, it's a goodbye from here, and God bless you.